I have some, what is it? Steak smoking right now. So
Steak.
yeah.
Like you have a steak smoking, like smoking a cigar, smoking a cigarette, or it's on the smoker.
It's just a
It's
steak.
on the smoke. Well, yeah, words are hard.
The steak is just sitting there like, okay.
It's time for Bourbon with Friends, the bourbon podcast that never takes itself too seriously. Pull up a chair, grab a glass, and remember, a bourbon with friends can change the world. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bourbon with Friends. Myself, Germ, and Martin are here to talk about whiskeys from around the world and spirits and how a bourbon with friends can change the world. We're just going to go back into what we were just talking about before we even started this.
No, we'll change it up a little bit. We'll change it up a little. So I've been playing this game lately, and I bring it around my family events, and it's called Hitster. It's a fun game.
I played that with you.
You did. You have. Really fun game. Lots of cool music in it. Music ranges from the 20s to today, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to guess where it falls on a timeline, and try to guess the artist and name of the song. Long story short, I'm pretty good at the game.
He is pretty good.
But music gets stuck in my head a lot. And one of the songs that's stuck in my head is that I can't think of the artist now because I can't think of the artist, but it's if you're going to San Francisco, wear the flowers in your hair. It's just stuck in my head. What do you guys do when you got music stuck in your head?
Just listen to it more.
Listen to the song.
You just listen to the song. That always happens for me. Or I listen to the next song or I listen to the lamb chop song because that is always going to get in your head.
I feel like that would, I wouldn't like that. I change the lyrics. I like to change the lyrics, and then that kind of drives it away. So that particular song, I have changed the lyrics to if you're going to San Francisco and instead of flowers in your hair, you drink whiskey from there.
Oh, it's Sinatra, right?
No, I don't believe that's Sinatra. I mean, the whiskey thing might be Sinatra.
Oh, I don't know. I just said something out loud. I don't know. No, I like that. I mean, but like then that doesn't get stuck in your head.
No, for whatever reason, when I change the lyrics, I sing it for about 10 minutes and then it's gone. Then it goes away.
I mean, I love changing the lyrics for most songs. Like I'll say like horribly inappropriate stuff or just like a song, like if it was just like a Pink Pony Club or something like that, I'll just say something horrible for it. But like, that's a song that gets stuck in my fucking head, man. I hate that song. That song constantly gets stuck in my head. And then when it finally gets out, I hear it again every time. And I'm singing it right now in my head. I don't like it, but I like your little method. Maybe I'll try that.
Try it out.
Pink Pony Club.
Speaking of San Francisco and whiskey from San Francisco,
both things.
I think we're talking to somebody today, aren't we?
Yeah, that's all we all came together today.
It is.
Oh, wow, that's so observant, Martin. But let's bring in Kevin, the head distiller of Old Potrero and Hirsch.
Correct.
Okay. Awesome. I didn't get it wrong. Kevin, could you do an introduction to yourself? I know we could do it. We did a lot of research on you, but it's better to come from the horse's mouth than the horse's ass. And we would be the horse's ass trying to do an introduction about you. So please.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. So my name is Kevin Aslan. I am the head distiller and blender for Old Potrero Rye whiskey, Hirsch Selected Bourbons, and also Junipero Gin, which is another San Francisco spirit brand that our company owns. Basically got into the industry in 2011. I used to work at the Anchor Brewery here in San Francisco. We used to be one company. We were Anchor brewers and distillers. And then in 2017, we changed our name to Hotaling Co, which is our parent company. And we're still making spirits in San Francisco. Somehow, it's a lot of challenges there, but been doing this almost 15 years now. So really excited to talk to you guys about what we do.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I know this gentleman up to, I don't know where he is on your screen, but Germ up here is the one. I think you're the one that introduced me to Old Potrero, and it was kind of a revelation for like our group because I think we were at a point like where rye was becoming something we talked about constantly.
Okay.
And we kept seeking out new ryes, and I mean, Germ's up in Wisconsin. There's a bunch of amazing distilleries up there that put out some great stuff. And then I came across, I think it was maybe the 9-year Old Potrero, the port finish. They have it. There's a Binny's pick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I still have some, and I was just like, yeah, I'm buying every one that I can find, like, because it's legit. And I'm not just doing this because you're here, but like it is between like, in our group, it's like we know if it's Old Potrero, I mean, there's got to be at least like 30 different versions of Old Potrero between all of us, like that we have like different finishes. It's amazing stuff. So
that's really cool to hear. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a fan for quite a while, and I try to introduce people to new stuff as much as I can. And Old Potrero was always one that when I introduce people to it, they're like, "Man, this is really good. Where do you get this at?"
Yeah.
And we're lucky enough in the state of Wisconsin, we do get it distributed here.
Right.
I know there's some places that probably don't get it.
Yeah. But I mean, we don't get it here. I'm in Indiana, but I get it if I go to Binny's in Chicago or outside Chicago. But I will say that there is sitting on the shelf, and I showed Germ, and I think Brian, I maybe showed you as well. There is a very old, the old bottling of Old Potrero. Before the new, they're taller, some more small. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
that one.
Yep. So
that's an old one.
Yeah. There's a couple on the shelf. I want to buy one. I think it's not bad price, like $75 or something like that. So, yeah.
Huh. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
75, something like that. So
Kevin seems so happy about $75 right there.
Well, that place is
really.
They sell their stuff all their stuff a little over. To be fair.
Yeah, that does seem a little high. But our pricing has kind of been like all over the place. Like since I've been here, it's like I never know like. Is that high these days or is that low? I just like never know anymore. But I still see those old bottles out. Even in San Francisco, sometimes I see some of our like older stuff, which is just like, and you never know what that price is going to be. But it's really, I didn't realize you guys were so into Old Potrero. That's really exciting.
Yeah, we so when did and just as random, but like when did the bottle shape change, and was there a reason for it?
Yeah, so we so actually Jerem, that bottle you held up, that is the original bottle, but it's actually the second version of the original label and bottle. That started like that was briefly in the market for maybe 2 years, like 2015. It was like right after, actually, no, I'm sorry, that was like 2017. It was right after we changed our name from Anchor Distilling to Hotaling Co.
Okay.
But we changed the whole format. I believe it was, we started doing that. Oh God, when was that now? We started thinking about it in 2020 and we released it in 2022, I believe. So it's only been about 3, maybe 2.5 years in the market in that larger bottle. And when we made that change, all of the whiskey that was, not all of it, but the straight rye whiskey label and then the 18th century style label, they were all 4.5 years or younger. But now the minimum we do is 6 years old. So just a little, not just a label change, but more of like a sort of overall upgrade, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I mean, the new bottle's got a great aesthetic, and it's also heavy, and you could probably beat a man to death with it. Between that and Driftless Glen and that, two of the most just stout bottles out there, and it's just I think I'm big on bottles. For me, we've talked about it on the show that like if you're into whiskey and you know your bottles, like when you walk into a bar, you see it on the shelf, you see the shape, like, oh, I know what I'm drinking tonight. I think, and I would say that Old Potrero is one of those, like if I saw it, I'm like, oh, there's Old Potrero. I'm gonna get that. Yep, for sure. So yeah, absolutely. I like it. Yeah.
Speaking of your labels and the label changes, obviously with this old one that I held up, and just going by what's on the label and knowing TTB stuff, this one says straight rye whiskey on the label, but it also has the word single malt on it. Now, obviously, I know through the TTB. But for those of you that don't, you can put all kinds of words on the label. However, what it actually is has to be the same font all the way through, and then everything else has to be slightly different. So your single malt obviously is a different size. It's very small right up here in the corner. And then straight rye whiskey is large, different type of font. Where I'm going with this question is, how do you feel about calling Old Potrero a single malt? Because it is 100% malted rye whiskey. So the grain is it's all the same grain, and it's all malted. And it all comes from one distillery. So
correct.
Realistically, it fits, other than the fact that it's not barley, right?
Sure. So there's kind of a lot there to unpack. So, I mean, Old Potrero was sort of the first, how do I say this? Like the first craft whiskey in America. Like that category didn't really exist when we started distilling back in 1993. That's when the company got its license to distill. So even on our first label ever, it has that same single malt on the top. I believe it's the top left, same position.
Okay.
And part of that was the category. No one was thinking about American single malt in the 90s, right? I mean, the category, I'm sure you guys know, right, was really just recognized by the TTB this year, right? So Fritz Maytag was really the mind behind Old Potrero, as well as Anchor Steam. Getting Anchor Steam and Old Potrero to be where they are today. A lot of it was sort of his vision. So putting single malt on the label for him was really just sort of like a way to like be transparent in a sense, and also really call out the way we were distilling by using pot stills and kind of being like a Scottish distillery sort of inspired way of making whiskey. We had a lot of debate over the last like 10 years if we should try to be a part of that conversation where, the whole industry is trying to decide like, what does American single malt mean, right? And we were part of those conversations, like with all of the different groups trying to advocate for what a single malt should be. And it just really was obvious that the direction the industry was going was towards barley and towards, where you see American single malt now. So honestly, dropping it with the new label for me, it made a lot of sense because Old Potrero is already sort of a unique proposition. So to try to add another layer to it, like single malt, it just seems at this point in time not worth the squeeze, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, what do we want to be educating people about when we talk about Old Potrero? And in my mind, and I think most people at the company would agree, that like single malt is like something else at this point. But it does, just the fact that that's on the label, I think, really speaks to our history and how long we've been doing this. But it's kind of like a cool relic at this point. But I've never ever really thought of Old Potrero as a single malt in any Scottish or American sense.
Okay, I'm kind of in the camp opposite of that. Like, I think that if it's a single grain, it's 100% malted, one distillery. It's a toss up on the still type for me. I don't care that much.
Sure.
I prefer pot still. Absolutely. I think it leaves the flavor in there. But I think if it's a single grain, single distillery, all malted, I think it should be called single malt, or be allowed to be called single malt. Obviously, barley is the king in that realm because that's what everybody assumes. But I mean, you can malt rye, you can malt, wheat, you can malt barley, you can malt corn. You can probably malt sorghum and millet and spelt and all of that.
I'm just happy you said you can't, just not Malort.
Yeah, no, nobody wants Malort.
Yeah, you can't do it. One thing I'm always interested in, like we haven't been able to ask this question in a while. Well, obviously we talk about stuff that we love, and you guys, when it comes to anything in general, I don't mean just Old Potrero. I mean, it could be Hirsch, could be anything. But I guess a little bit more leaning towards the Old Potrero side is obviously you guys have a lot of different cask finishes. And that's a thing. That's a big thing now. Like a lot of people are doing it. I think that there's people who do it really well, and I think there's people who are just doing it to do it. What would you say has been the biggest thing you learned from a bad batch? Like if you get something, you're just like, this is not it. And obviously there's a thing of let's do it differently next time. But like, what's maybe some of the other things that you kind of go through your head when you first realize you're like, this is not it. This is not one that's going to ever make it out of here.
Yeah, that's a good question. No one's ever really asked me that. Honestly, it's hard because when you have 6 to 12 barrels of something that you're finishing, right? Like let's say the port finish. Individually, those barrels can be very different, right? Just like a single barrel would be. Mm-hmm. And it's not until you really start blending all of them together, you'll sort of know what kind of flavor profile you're dealing with. Because even if you took like a gallon from each of those barrels and mixed it, it's still not going to be fully representative of like what you're going to end up with, especially if aerating it a little bit, putting it in the tank, and kind of all the in between. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint like if something you don't like what it is, but and this might be really obvious, but I'll say that I think the most important thing you can do with finishing is making sure the barrels you're getting are high quality. And I don't just mean the wood itself, but whatever was in it was something that you would like drink yourself, like specific even to the brand. If you kind of just get barrels and you have no idea where they came from, you're like, that's when you're going to start to run into unexpected issues. So, and also another thing too is the proof at which you go into the barrel really, in my opinion, matters. Again, I've just kind of seen this a lot, and I've had the benefit of working with our previous master distiller, Bruce Joseph, and kind of seeing, what different proofs in the barrel will sort of result like at the end product. Just like the more deliberate you are, the better it will probably serve you down the line in these finishes.
Yeah, and I mean, I know there's got to be a little bit of just kind of just throwing it at, like this might work, but like you said, if everything goes, I mean, it's like, I mean, this from editing, like garbage in, garbage out, right? I mean that's what it is. Like you put bad footage in, you're gonna have shit footage. There's nothing that's gonna fix that. But when it's like when you and we could use our favorite word, Brian, terroir. We could talk about terroir, but having everything and knowing good casks, things like that. When you start off with that, that it's probably going to come out right. But I'm just always curious because it's just like I think if I ever got into blending, I would never know when to stop. I would never know when it was perfect, and that's always been a thing that I'm like, I would never know how to be like, this is it, and not be like, well, what if I did this? What if I just did one more thing? What if I added one more thing? That's
me,
my problem.
And honestly, that I still have that issue as well. But our vice president of operations, I work with him pretty closely, and he's very good at being like, maybe this is it, So anyway, does that answer make sense?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's a great answer too, because I mean that is it's the simplicity of like knowing what you have before you go in and then repeat that process. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of, being a little bit of rebellious at some point, trying some kind of some wild shit, but at the end of the day, that it will likely work because of past experiences. No, it's a great answer.
And as far as go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
No, what I was going to say is I would love to get into this Old Potrero with everybody and try to figure out what's going on with it. But
I won't disagree with that. Let's do a little bit of that.
So on here, it says this is barrel number OP 6-14-7. And this is aged 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah. It should be just a little over 10 years, I believe.
Okay. At 130 proof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Give or take.
So, give or take, right? Yeah, plus or minus. But you gave me something of a passion of almost all of ours is a little bit higher proof ryes, and especially single malt ryes.
I clearly didn't like it at all, by the way.
No,
dude, I had to hide these. I was gonna.
I did too. I could. I had. That's why I went. I just had to go get it because I hid it from myself.
Yeah.
So because like I knew that they would yell at me. They're like, "You fucking drank it before the show." Like,
yeah.
So I did keep a little bit, at least enough to try with you. But yeah, I've gone through a good amount of.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
This is absolutely phenomenal. But could you tell us a little bit about what this one is specifically?
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, I had a bunch of samples in my sort of office, and I just grabbed one, kind of, knowing you guys would at least appreciate it on some level. But we've been kind of slow to roll out our single barrels, to be honest. Like we've been doing them a little bit every year here and there, but a lot of our stuff is starting to come on 10 years now. So I picked this sample because I really like our Char 3 and Char 4 single barrels, and all of the stuff that's becoming 10 years or older. That's sort of what I've been sending to the more the kind of connoisseurs like yourselves. I didn't have any like specific reason other than that. I just was hoping you guys would like it and just talk about it, get your insights, see what you think.
Yeah. Almost kind of like a what's to come from Old Potrero and the single cast program, perhaps.
I mean, yeah, and we do maybe anywhere from 10 to 30 single barrels a year, but they haven't been quite this old. I think 9 years.
9.7 is
really
the oldest one I have, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of crazy for me to see some of our single barrels going on 10 years now. I mean, I can tell you it was distilled in 2014, and this was all distilled on our original distillery setup. Basically, this was done in 2 distillations. We did the first distillation, the low wines, in a 700 liter copper pot still, and then we did the second run, the spirit run, on a 250 liter pot still, and that's tiny, right? And everything from that 250 liter pot still, I'm still like obsessed with. We stopped using it in 2015, and we didn't go that much higher in volume with the pot still that we switched to, but that 250 liter pot still was just really special. And I don't know, it's just crazy to see it like being bottled and talked about now. It's just something I've always really enjoyed.
Okay.
Well, I can say if I had the money to buy this barrel, I would.
Yeah.
But this is amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is without a doubt the oldest Old Potrero I've had.
Yes.
I think before this was that Germ. I think it's the same. Would have been yours, whatever it was, because I've tried yours.
Yeah.
And then I know Rob had like a 9.7 or a 9.8 or something like that.
We would have had the same ones,
right?
At the same time. Yeah.
Nice.
What I love about the Old Potrero, and I don't know if this is because of the malting process or what the reasoning is behind it, but there is this beautiful like fruitiness that comes out of these, as opposed to a lot of other 100% ryes that are more of the spearmint and herbal. This is more light and fruity and more in my wheelhouse, because I am a single malt fan. That's my number one, type of whiskey. I love all whiskeys. I don't, take anything away from any of the other ones. But if I have a choice, I'm reaching for single malt generally. And
Sure.
it really drives home a reminiscence of single malt. But then when you taste it, it gives you that beautiful rye herbalness.
Yeah, and that fruitiness. I was talking earlier just about how we do the double distillation, and the way we do it is very traditionally how they make Scotch. So a lot of those esters that come out during the tails, when you redistill them and they get into the next spirit run, like when you recycle them, there's a huge benefit to basically distilling it that second time. And a lot of that fruitiness is coming from really just the sort of, again, that Scottish distillation style we do. And again, like the older this whiskey gets, that fruitiness, like just really, on my palate at least, really evolves into like this sort of like dark stone fruit, like a lot of plum, but also like spicy, really balances well with the barrel. It's just something I think really special happening there.
Almost like a dirty agave. If you guys
for sure
ever had that before, like a sweet honey with a more of a earthy tone.
I just love that.
For
Like
sure.
At this point, this rye is obviously just booming, and there's so many different distilleries. It's almost like you can tell now the distilleries who are making rye that are more bourbon focused, and then the ones that are making rye that were obviously more influenced by single malt Scotch. And that's why, like, you know, like Germ, I would say that Driftless is more influenced by bourbon than it would be Scotch. Whereas this, to me, like you said, this is my wheelhouse. I was just talking about this the other day that I love all different kind of things, different finishes. I love fully maturated stuff and sharing and whatnot. But just give me X bourbon and that's it. That's my wheelhouse, and that's why I think I love this so much, because it's so light and it just reminds me of single malt Scotch. But it's got that spice and that like menthol and that just like spearmint, like it's just so good.
The fun thing for me with these is the nose and the palate. I mean, you know, I don't want to say this like it sounds like a bad thing, but they do not line up. The nose is very different whiskey than the palate is. And I love that, because that is like, it's a fun experience every time you go into it. Because you smell it as you're going to take a sip and you're expecting something, and it's totally different than what you're expecting, and it's wonderful.
What's your favorite note that you find in this? Not even just this specific one, but any Old Potrero.
I mean, honestly. Oh yeah, me or
who are you asking there?
I was asking Kevin. That's the first one we're interviewing.
That's what I thought, and I just want clarify.
Yeah.
It's that high proof. We're all getting a little confused.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, I've always really sort of like appreciated the complexity from Old Potrero, and that's from the rye. Rye has like it just has a lot of flavor and a lot of sort of like flavor that you can unlock with it if you treat it any certain way. But I don't know, like I kind of I want to say like grew up with this whiskey. You know, like I was 22 when I started, and to be honest, like at the time my favorite whiskey was Maker's Mark. So my palate is kind of trained to this. So again, I just really like the complexity that you get from Old Potrero. We were talking about the fruitiness earlier. I like how it kind of evolves into like that sort of dark stewed fruit, but I also love all the sort of baking spice that we pull from the barrel. I like the spiciness of it, honestly. And I don't know if you guys would agree that it's spicy, but because I feel like everyone interprets that differently, but love to get your thoughts on that.
It is spicy, and I mean, obviously due to proof, but like rye, and like for me, like it's like there's a difference between me biting into like a scorpion, pepper, or if I'm just like biting into like a jalapeno, or if something's just seasoned cayenne versus having Carolina Reaper or something like that. To me, this is like it's on the lower end of the spice, and it doesn't distract, it just complements it. Like I like when something is like super spicy, but like you can still taste it kind of like barraging
minutes
like barraging your taste buds with something else, and you're like, that's fine, I know it's spicy right now, but I'm getting stone fruits, I'm getting like eucalyptus, like I'm getting all this shit. So I mean, I love when something's spicy and it's meaningful and impactful on the actual spirit, rather than it just be like a fucking hazmat that like it's just like an endurance challenge, you know what I mean? Like
right
I don't find
sure.
fun in that. It's weird, I've been drinking like really low proof whiskey lately. Like I've like in it was a rule that I used to have where I'm just like, if it says 40% and I know it's chill filtered, and if it says it's got color on it, I'm not buying it. But I've sort of like gotten away from that because there are some fantastic whiskeys out there that are in like the 40 to 43%. And they still have some, and they still have character like that. Do you have any that you like? Have you ever thought about doing something at that kind of proof?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Absolutely. I've been thinking about it a lot actually because I don't know. I tend to have a tendency to kind of like look where other people aren't, just because. I mean, I don't know, that sounds so lame saying it out loud, but when you see everyone kind of going like super high proof, you know, I kind of do want to. And it's like with beer, like you know, like when everyone was going super hoppy, like me and my pretentious brewer friends were like, you know, like let's start drinking lagers. You know what I mean? And now they're like, but I mean, it's just sort of. I guess being like in the industry, you get exposed to so many different styles, and you kind of realize like, wow, there like you said, like there's a lot of good whiskey at like lower proofs, and like you know, Irish whiskeys, American whiskeys, and it just gets you thinking like, when you're that low of proof, there's nothing you can't really hide behind the proof, if you will. So that really interests me, and especially with Old Potrero, there's something I'd like to do there. I don't know if it will ever come out, but it's on my like on my list of stuff I'm like kind of messing with.
Well, I think you got 3 guinea pigs right here. If you ever want an opinion on a 40%,
okay,
Old Potrero. Just I throwing that out there.
I mean, I think maybe the maybe that the 16-year was 50%, right?
Yeah, probably. Can I see that? Which one is that? Did I send that?
No. This one I bought this one.
Okay, that's the Hotalings. Yeah, so that's 100 proof. It's bottled in bond. But yeah, that's the
lowest proof I've had from Old Potrero. Because I know there's a 46% out there, but I don't think I've actually ever had it. Because everybody like people buys them, they want the single barrels and they want like something kind of different. But I think that one was, and it was different because that one was in X or used oak, right?
Yeah, so used rye barrels.
Rye barrels. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, we missed a note from our editor friend here. He's getting tea on the nose. Aside from the sweet fruits,
tea.
I would go with that. I would go with a tea type thing, especially after it's been sitting here for a little bit. And I've gotten some on the palate, and now it's kind of a little retro. And I can see the tea.
Yeah, when those like spearmint notes calm down in a rye, you always get like that oolong tea note that just kind of like comes up from it. Just because at some point, like for me, it always goes menthol, spearmint, some kind of like black tea or something like that. Yeah, I agree with that, Joe. Thanks, man, for your input on that.
You also just said something really fancy, Martin. Did you just say oolong tea?
Oolong tea.
That's something most people or most of our audience wouldn't even know how to spell.
No, probably not. I mean, I don't know if I know how to spell it.
I got no idea how to spell it.
I think it's OOH and then long. Right?
Well, I mean, you're the writer. I don't know.
I don't write in tea. Like, fucking writing tea leaves. Oh man.
So I mean, we were talking about the notes and the stuff and all of that on this, and then you had mentioned that rye can do several things depending on how you work with it. How much focus do you guys put in to what rye you use? Which specific grain?
So honestly, that was done at the very, very early on, like even before, I mean, way before my time. Basically, we've been working with Briess Malt for our rye specifically since the beginning. They're just really they're super solid. The malted rye that they have has always just been our favorite, and we've tried other types of rye since I've been there, just like doing test distillations, and it's something about Briess's malting process, and I can't speak to it specifically, but it's just always super rich. It doesn't have like that sort of like younger grain flavor that I kind of see. I tend to get with other rye malts. I don't know what, I honestly don't know what it is, but we've always used them, and it's sort of just been like, didn't really want to mess with that sort of flavor that we've established.
Okay. So you said Briess Malt, and immediately I'm like, man, that sounds really familiar. Like I really know that name, and I had to look. But
Sure.
they are Wisconsin, a Wisconsin malt house.
Right.
So my belief is they pretty much source their grains from fairly local in the state. So you're getting very similar rye as to what we were talking about earlier with the driftless Glen and the and all of that stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Obviously, yours being malted, takes a different turn. But
sure, right.
Makes a good Wisconsin boy proud,
Yeah, no, for sure. Hell yeah. Yeah, I believe they get a lot of their malt from Montana as well.
Okay.
But yeah, they've just always been. I mean, they're kind of all over the United States. But again, it's just for Old Potrero especially, it's just like it just fits into the flavor profile, like the big full bodied richness, and other ryes that we've distilled. They've been good, but it doesn't have that sort of Old Potrero vibe, if you will.
And I mean, there's definitely a vibe to every Old Potrero I've had. So good on you for keeping it that way.
For sure. But then, like if we were going to do something like we were talking about, like a lower proof, that's like sort of the opportunity where like a different malt supplier like would probably make sense. Yeah. Like, I don't know, there again, like it's not, you don't always want that like full robust malty character. It's like one of those like challenges. If you're going to do something different, do something low proof, it can be difficult.
Sure. Talking about doing something different, I know you guys you pretty much have solely always been 100% malted rye whiskey. Is there any thoughts? Has there ever been any thoughts about doing different styles of whiskey? Just throwing different ones out there, bourbon or whatever. I know you have Hirsch as your bourbon line, but a single malt or a wheat whiskey or a whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so we really thought we were going to do an American single malt for Old Potrero, and that's actually what the Hirsch departure turned into. So I think I sent you guys a sample of that, right? The purple label.
You did.
Yeah. So that was at the time we were thinking that was going to be an Old Potrero product. But during the label change process, it was at that time that we really committed that Old Potrero was probably going to be rye just forever. And again, that's not like an official statement, but it's just kind of how we looked at it during the time, because we saw the way Hirsch was going. The thing about Hirsch is like we're not committed to like one style, one state, any one way of doing things. And then Old Potrero kind of has this more like traditional feel to it. So again, like not wanting to mess with like the DNA of the brand. But again, yeah, the single malt was something we knew we wanted to do, and we're like, okay, let's make it now and worry about it, 7 years from now. And then the Hirsch line just kind of made sense to kind of have like an innovative product like that. I mean, who knows? Like maybe we would do a bourbon someday under Old Potrero. There's a lot of good California bourbon distilleries out here, so it's tempting to want to go that direction. I think it'd be a lot of fun, but right now it's probably going to be rye for quite some time.
Stick with what works, man. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, speaking of Hirsch, which one do you want to jump into? The American single malt that you sent us, or this silver barrel?
Let's do the single malt. Is single malt? Is that okay with you guys?
100%.
Absolutely. Now we're in.
I love this smell.
My territory. So
language.
This is a fantastic whiskey. I was tickled to death when I picked this one up, and then so I had already picked this one up, and then you had sent us the same one, and I'm like, I'm 100% happy about that, because now I can drink this one without ever thinking that I'm going to run out of it.
Okay. Oh yeah.
But I love this whiskey. I really, really do. And I did a fair bit of research on this one after purchasing it to see what it was all about, what went into it. And obviously I'm not going to throw that out there. That I'm going to let you do that because it's your thing. But my question to you on this is, so Hirsch, as you look at labels of Hirsch, it says Kentucky, Kentucky bourbon. Obviously, we know you are in San Francisco. Old Potrero's in San Francisco. How does that work? And are you? I mean, is Hirsch a distillery, or is this a sourced product from another Kentucky distillery?
So, so each Hirsch label is different. Again, like there is no Hirsch distillery. Okay. And that I'm glad you asked that, because there never has been, and it's something I do like to tell people when I remember. But it's sometimes when you're talking about this stuff, it's kind of hard to remember that. But yeah, there is no Hirsch distillery, and we, even when the brand started, it really started in 1974, way before we owned it. But it's always kind of been this sourced product. So that to us just is sort of like a way to release innovative or traditional products. So the Departure is actually sourced from ourselves. That one was actually distilled in San Francisco at our original distillery when we were part of Anchor Steam. If you look at that bottle, that purple label on the side, it says distilled and bottled in San Francisco, which is really cool for me to see, like San Francisco on the Hirsch label.
Oh yeah.
But like we have whiskey coming from Indiana, from Kentucky. So that's kind of how we kind of approach the brand overall with Hirsch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm drinking this silver barrel, but I don't have any left. So.
Did you like that one?
I love that one. That was really, I like anything that has like a high percentage of malted barley in it. And I'm obviously this is 15%, but it's higher than most, and I enjoy that. It gives it an edge. It gives me it just gives me what I want. And I'm not a huge bourbon fan. I know it's weird coming from the theme of the podcast and everything. But I get bored with it really quick. And then somebody does something interesting like this, and then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can get with these things.
Sure. So yeah, again, this is 100% malted barley. So and we're talking about the Departure still, right?
We are, yes. He was drinking the silver barrel though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we when I say we, I'm referring to Bruce, because Bruce, Joseph, and I we used to go through all of this together. But we really like the malted barley character in whiskey, whether it's 15% or 100. But for the Departure, we're using this special barley called Maris Otter.
Yep.
So that's it's a brewer's malt, really. It's it's English style ales. And I don't know, when we used to share a space with Anchor Brewing, it was, you just never knew what kind of malt you were going to see in that place. So we just always had access to interesting malts. And one of the ones we really liked, the distillate, was Maris Otter. Even on its own, it was it's just like liquid bread. I don't know how else to describe it. So when we committed to doing an American single malt, we ran with that barley type, and it's a little bit more expensive, but it just felt like it fit our character for whether it was an Old Potrero product or not. Yeah. It definitely feels like a pot distilled whiskey at a minimum. But yeah, what do you guys think of this? Is it? I guess like for an American single malt, does it seem like what you'd expect, or does it seem like a little bit? Because the thing about this is we also use new barrels, and sometimes it can like throw people off. So I'm always curious to get people's take on this one.
I'm going to let you two answer this one first, because I could talk for like 3 hours on this one.
I think, well, number one, I love Briess Malt. I think that whenever I find out that is the barley used, I'm like, okay, that makes sense why I like it. You're right. I think there can be a thing with like with new oak. I think there can be a thing with American single malts that can sometimes, for some people, and this was the same thing for like younger bourbons and things like that. You can taste the grain, and you can, and especially with something that is kind of as effervescent as Briess Malt, and it is, like you can taste it, and I think that turns some people off. I love it. I like being able to taste where something came from, what it is, the different variety. Like I'm like, oh, this is not just blah blah blah. So for me, I think it's got a depth that you don't usually get to find in the kind of great span of American single malts coming out nowadays. And there's a lot of them, and I think that's what gets hard is like looking for the thing. And I think Germ, Joe, Brian, and myself, we kind of come from that kind of unique thing that we love single malt. Like that is our thing. So like when we came into looking for American single malts, it made us a little bit more picky on what it is. And for me, this falls in line with like I would buy it every day kind of thing. Like it's just one of those. It's Balconda's lineage is another one like that for me. It's just it hits exactly everything I want, and I think they use Briess Malt, or at least for the use for the at least somewhat. I think they use Briess Malt, and then they use their own barley as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought they were
cool. I didn't know that.
I thought they were Golden Promise.
Is that Golden Promise?
They were.
I think they're Golden Promise.
They were. They are.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know one of
they aren't doing a lot right now. So
no, they're not doing anything right now. But like it's but yeah, I think to me this falls in that camp of yes, there could be some youthful notes, but it's done right. And I really enjoy that.
Well, I can say that after trying this, and I have not been drinking the past couple months due to some medical reasons, but that's neither here nor there. My palate's been opened up again with single malts.
Oh yeah.
And trying this for the first time today, I will say I will be drinking this a lot more. Yeah. And trying to find it in my local area if it sells in Colorado. If it doesn't, I'm going to be very aggravated and talking to my liquor store owners that are around me, telling them to get it.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I want to say that what's it called? Boulder has it, because I feel like I used to see that bottle all the time when I was living there.
Okay.
I think what the hell is that place called? I don't remember. It's the big place in Boulder that sells a bunch of cool shit. Yeah, no, I think again, I love finding Americans these new just finding a really simple American single malt that just kind of scratches the itch for what I want, and like his bottles like that do it. I love the very pronounced black licorice note that sometimes turns people off with single malt. I love that. To me, it's just got a quality. And I think again, I get a lot of that on that one.
Well, the one thing I would say is don't change what you're doing.
Yeah.
At all.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, don't do anything different.
Don't do anything different. This is amazing.
Right.
So don't evolve at all.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, the only do more.
Yeah.
Do more.
Yeah. Do more of it, because this is absolutely phenomenal. I'll continue to buy
Thank
this.
you.
And I'll continue to drink it no matter what.
Yeah.
There is one question we always have to ask at the end of our podcast.
Sure.
And unfortunately, we're coming to that ending point right now. And
sure.
Germ, since you're newer-ish to the podcast, would you like to ask this question?
I could.
You remember the question?
I remember the gist of the question? Do we have a specific one for this?
No, it's this generic ending question that we always ask.
Oh, never mind. I was on the squirrel thing.
Oh no,
not the squirrel one. No.
That
all right.
Can you imagine what that
so
sounds like out of context? This Kevin's probably like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
It's
all right.
like squirrel. What? So Kevin, what we do like to ask is, do you have a favorite spirits-related memory, whether it be whiskey or any other spirit, making it, drinking it, sharing it with somebody throughout your lifetime? Do you have a favorite memory that comes to mind when you think about that?
So kind of, yeah. So for some reason, when you said memory, I automatically thought about like childhood, like being younger, and kind of my first experience with booze was my parents, like when we'd go out to dinner sometimes. My mom would always get an old fashioned, and she always give me the cherry at the end. You know what I mean? And even though it was, tasted like whiskey, I always like really liked it. And I don't know, like that. I don't know, like that always kind of sticks out in my head. Is even to this day, like when I get, that's like kind of my drink. I always get an old fashioned. It always makes me think of her, like even to this day. And it's kind of crazy because our company, we also import the Luxardo cherries.
Oh, really?
We don't make them, but we're Luxardo's sort of importing partner.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's strange that I work with like booze and cherries in a sense as well. But for some reason, that was the first thing I thought of when you asked that.
I like
that's
that,
excellent.
like
I love that, actually. That's
so
really cool, because most people say something related to either making it or before I was the distiller here, I met this person who's the distiller. You know what I mean?
Sure,
that's a very core memory, and
Yeah.
that's very cool.
And
That's
it's
very
like,
cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know where it was going either, because I'm like, he's talking about being younger. He's just getting fucked up at like 8.
little bit.
You did remind me though, because you're right. My mom never did that. My mom wasn't like a big drinker. She drank wine, but she was never like a cocktail thing. But like, they did used to. I always remember at Christmas time they get those chocolates that had like booze in them.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like, they'd be sitting there eating them, and then they would allow me to have like one. And then like
Right.
I remember I'd be walking around the place like, whoa, I'm fucking smashed.
And that's what happened to Martin.
That's what happened.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
Yes.
That's
That's what made him a writer.
It's a straight line right into this podcast.
I do have another question that I like to ask people.
Okay.
Outside of the stuff that you make, what is something that you enjoy to drink? A brand or a type of whiskey that you like to drink, or maybe it's not whiskey. Maybe you prefer gin or something else. But outside of your brand.
Sure. I love gin, but I'll keep it whiskey focused. I mean, I love Heaven Hill. Anything Heaven Hill puts out, I really enjoy. I don't know what it is, like if it's like the house character or just the way. I mean, they've been doing it forever, but especially like their higher end stuff, like they're maybe not higher. I mean, it is higher end, but the hard to get stuff is like, it always blows me away. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say like anything from Heaven Hill. Another rye I like is Sazerac rye, Buffalo Trace, but God, that rye is just incredible, especially for the price. I just think it's, I always have some in my cabinet here, so that's kind of where my mind goes.
Okay, perfect.
That's good. That's Seven Hill Bottom Bond. Heaven Hill is like that
Oh,
to me.
yeah.
That's how bourbon should taste. To me, like
I'm a Heaven Hill fan as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They do make good stuff.
Yeah,
Never tried any like the really expensive stuff. I don't think I've ever had like the Heaven Hill 17 or anything like that. I know I've never had anything quite like that.
Yeah, I had this, like, it was like I think it was in man, I can't remember what it's that 17, 19-year-old line they have, but it was like a 19-year-old corn whiskey that they like forgot about.
Oh,
that changed my life. I was like, oh my God.
What is that? It's not
Parker Heritage.
No.
Yeah. What is it? I can't remember the name.
Joe.
ChatGPT.
Joe, Google.
I know what you're talking about because I remember that release, actually, the specific release you're talking about.
What is that?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I cannot think of it because Bernheim is their wheat whiskey. Parker's Heritage varies between wheat, bourbon, and rye. Elijah Craig is their bourbon, obviously, and sometimes their rye. Mellow Corn is their corn whiskey, but I know it wasn't a 19. Well, maybe it was a 19-year-old Mellow Corn, and they just put a different name on it.
I think it's just their Heritage collection, not Parker Heritage. I think is what it is.
Okay,
it is. Joe's nodding his head. Yes, it's just their Heritage collection.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it was a 20-year Kentucky straight corn whiskey at 100 proof. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that was.
Oh God, that sounds good.
It was aged under a third floor of the warehouse if you guys didn't know. So yeah. Thanks, ChatGPT.
Nice.
ChatGPT.
Holy crap.
Well,
like to try that. That sounds delicious, though. By the way,
it does.
Yeah,
Kevin, the one thing I have to say is thank you for sending us all these samples. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Of course.
It's absolutely phenomenal. Everybody out there listening to this podcast, thank you. No matter where you're at around the world, remember a bourbon or whiskey with friends can change the world. Everybody, thanks for joining. Have a great night,
everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We'll see you guys in 7 months.
All right, guys, I want to thank our sponsor, 10th Mountain Whiskey. You can find them on all social media platforms, as well as 10thwhiskey.com. You can use the code BWF15 for a 15% discount. That's pretty cool. Get some money off. Buy your friends something. Buy your family something. If your friends like whiskey, if your family likes whiskey, you can buy them that. But if they don't, you can buy them a hat. We'd love for you to go there and check them out and buy their products. You can also find them in 42 different states through online distribution, as well as 30 states across the country through regular retail distribution, guys. That's pretty cool. And it's growing because, well, no, the distribution is growing. We're not getting more states. So basically, if you do have any questions, you can reach out to 10thwhiskey.com. They'll be happy to answer anything that you may have. And of course, we thank 10th Mountain Whiskey for being our sponsor on the podcast.
That's it for this episode of Bourbon with Friends. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a review to make it easier for others to find the show. You can also check us out on Instagram at BWF Podcast. Thanks for listening.